So as you might know, I just recently went to Japan and I really liked it. And I saw Pokemon everywhere basically. I saw the toys. I thought it's kind of outdated, but I saw those toys. I saw like, I don't know, cosplay of Pokemon. And I saw advertisements of Pokemon of a new edition like Sword and Shield, I think. And funny enough, there were a lot of people playing Pokemon Go actually. I think it got more popular again due to the new update, I'm not sure. But obviously being so exposed to Pokemon, I got a bit sentimental and I saw those cards lying around in the 7-Eleven. So I thought I'm gonna buy some booster packs. I think that's what they're called. The last time I bought them was like when I was 8 years old or something. So here it is. One of those nice booster packs, and I also thought it could make a nice sound. And honestly, at first I wasn't even sure if that's really a Pokemon up here, because it doesn't say Pokemon like in English. Everything is just Japanese, but here back here it says Pokemon card game, otherwise I wouldn't be able to identify it. I mean, I do recognize these Pokemon. It's one of those legendaries from the new Switch game, if I'm not mistaken, the Shield and Sword one. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to this, and what I also kind of wanted to do is to learn a bit more about the new generations, because if I'm really honest, I kind of stopped paying attention after the third generation. I mean, the first generation and the second one, I still can basically name all Pokemon, but after that I kind of stopped when there were these editions with like this Miltank, which was pretty powerful actually, and this Orzos Bear and so on. I didn't like them so much. And then the starter Pokemon of the later generations, like Fight/Fire Pokemon, I couldn't really identify so much with. But I'm looking forward to get back into it and to find out somehow what these Pokemon are. And actually also saw some videos by Max Mofo, who for some reason is still addicted to this stuff. So I'm looking forward to this. I mean, honestly, I'm not a big fan of this 3D look, but whatever. I can live with it, I guess. And here in the back, I can't read anything. It just says Pokemon-card.com. So, I mean, I do obviously hope that there's gonna be some valuable ones in here, but I don't even know for sure which ones are valuable and which ones aren't. So I might have to look it up. And I also might have to look up the Pokemon names. So, I think I'm ready to start. Let's go. I got you all the way from Japan back to Berlin. Every one of those has the same person or Pokemon in front of it, namely this guy, which is, I'm not sure what the name is. Do you know what the name is? I think it's one of the legendary Pokemon from Sword and Shield. And I mean, it kind of reminds me of Dark Souls, right? Because one of them had like a sword in his mouth, and the other one had like a shield built into him or something. All right, so let us start with the opening. I'm a total noob, definitely. So, alright, so this one, I have no idea which one it is. It's like a grass Pokemon holding a flower, like a rose. I don't know if it's supposed to be cute or something, but it looks really weak and it only has 70 HP and one attack, maybe like Razor Leaf or something. So that's the first one. I don't know. So yeah, as I said, I wanted to find out a bit more about those Pokemon that I don't know about. So here we go. I already looked this up a bit and I have the font a bit larger so you guys can see. I'm gonna go to Bulbapedia. I think that's a cool page. So here we go. So if I'm not entirely mistaken, the Pokemon that I have here is Roselia, and it is a grass poison Pokemon. Is it large enough like this? Yeah. And it was introduced in Generation 3, and it evolves from Budew when leveled up with high friendship during the day, and evolves into Roserade when exposed to a shiny stone. Okay, understood. So the first generation looks like this. Kind of ridiculous if you ask me. And the final evolution using a shiny stone looks like this. Kind of like the same but with gray hair and with like a bit different flowers on it. And it remains a grass poison Pokemon. So did you know that? I mean, I kind of should have known because it was introduced in Generation 3 apparently, and maybe it's just too forgettable and too weak for me to notice this Pokemon. That's a Pokemon I do know. I like it. It's called Magma in German. Tell me what the name is in English or your language. It's funny that they still have first generation in here. And it's also funny that the back looks different. Back in the day it was all blue, the ones I knew. But now it's like kind of a brown, golden color or something. It's interesting. Apparently I looked up like what the most valuable Pokemon cards are. They're like the Charizard or something, and I thought I had one, or like a Bulbasaur or something, which I actually had one. So I'm wondering if I have one of those valuable ones at home. So yeah, that's the one. Magma. Which one is that? That's also one of the well-known ones. In German they're called Magneto. It's an electrical type Pokemon. The first evolution is just one of those things. They were kind of powerful, and they can do like confusion attacks and so on. And I kind of like them. Yeah, I think maybe they're kind of like the medium rareness, so to say. Alright, let's go. This one. This one is just a trainer card. Yeah, I mean, Max Mofo knows exactly which ones are valuable. Could be that this one is valuable, but probably not. I think mostly the shiny ones are valuable, so that's it. This is a Pokemon I do not know. It kind of looks like Nocturne, or this Pokemon that has his mother's skull as like a, I don't know, mourning trophy or whatever. It kind of looks similar to it, but I'm really not sure if this is the same. So if you have any idea what kind of Pokemon this is, please kindly tell me. But at the same time, it has quite a lot of HP, and the attacks aren't so bad. Maybe it's not a bad Pokemon, but I have no idea what this helmet is supposed to be. Is it supposed to be his, like, a medieval helmet or something? Okay, so for Cubone I tried this strategy, looking for Pokemon that looks like Cubone but different helmet, but I couldn't really find it, so now I'm gonna look for Pokemon with a helmet, with a knight helmet. Maybe that's the right way to search. No, that's not the one I'm looking for. How do I identify this Pokemon? Helmet. This is really hard. So yeah, it's basically it. It's only 5 cards. Now I know it. Basically, I have 5 cards in each, so in total I have only 25 cards, which is good, I guess, because I don't really know what to do with those cards. I don't really collect them. I don't know. If you want those cards, I can send them to you, or if you're in Berlin, I will give them to you for free, okay? Alright, this was number 1. Let's go to number 2. Number 2. pretty bad at opening them up, right? I don't know if it's really the most relaxing sound, but it was funny. I remember watching Max Mofo opening those up, and he was really getting frustrated. He was really pissed off, and I think he does have a gambling problem, which I don't, luckily. All right, that's interesting. It starts off with this one, which is totally foreign to me. But which is, I think, the valuable one, right? Maybe because it has 110 HP, and it's, I don't even know exactly what type it is. Maybe like one of those new types that's not the regular types. It's a big fat cat that is good against Earth and has 110 HP. It's like it's the second evolution of like a smaller cat, which kind of looks like similar to like first generation cats that Team Rocket used to have. But this one, I have no idea. We'll have to look it up, what Pokemon this is. Interesting. Okay, now I want to research this big cat. Pokemon big cat. Big fat cat. Maybe that's the way. Yeah, I think that's the one I'm looking for. Pure Ugly. That's a great name. So basically, Pure Ugly Pokemon. That's the Pokemon I'm looking for. That's a beautiful name for a Pokemon. I'm not gonna lie. Pure Ugly. I mean, what the F? So basically, Pure Ugly is a normal type Pokemon introduced in Generation 4. It evolves from Glameow at level 38. So it's a normal type, which is like the worst type basically there is, right? At least that's my opinion. And let's see what the pre-evolution looks like. The pre-evolution looks like this. That's a skinny, kind of ugly cat as well, I guess. Okay, let's go. Oh, this is one of the favorite ones of the internet memers as well. This is Digdy, which is basically the small Pokemon, which basically is below the earth. It's an earth Pokemon, and they have some pretty good attacks, especially with their second evolution when they become three of those little guys. They can do like earthquake attacks and so on. But I mean, you guys can tell me if this is like one of the good ones, or I mean, this is obviously not a valuable card, so yeah. All right, what do we have here? Okay, so this is a strange looking Pokemon that does something that I do not understand. Just chilling on some, looks like an ancient castle or something. So it's very strange, and I'm looking forward to learning more about this weak looking Pokemon. Okay, let's see. Pokemon, fire Pokemon that looks like crocodile. Yeah, I think that's the one. Salandit, that's the one. So Salandit Yatomori in Japanese is a dual type poison fire Pokemon introduced in Generation 7. Okay. Female Salandit evolves into Salazzle starting level 33. Male Salandit are known to evolve into or from any other Pokemon. Are not known. So basically only the female ones are evolving and the male ones aren't evolving. I think honestly the combination is pretty interesting. Fire, poison. That could make for an interesting, strong fighting Pokemon. And biology, Salandit is a small black Pokemon resembling a salamander or lizard. Okay. It did appear in the Alola New Adventure television series. So just want to see what the Salazzle looks like still. Okay, that's what it looks like. Pretty interesting. Could be a strong one, right? Poison fire. It's an interesting combo. Yeah. Alright. Alright, so what's next? Oh, this is finally a shiny one. It's not really shiny, it's kind of like shining. Probably a shiny one would be very rare. So this is the final evolution of Magma. I think they took this one and just added this one in a later generation, because at the beginning there was no final evolution of him. He looks pretty powerful. He has 130 health, and he is probably weak to water, yes, and he has like a pretty powerful attack which I cannot comprehend. I'm wondering what his name is. Do you know this? I hope it's not Mega Magma, because there are these mega evolutions which I find a bit obnoxious, but this is a pretty cool looking card. It's probably worth 10 cents or something. Okay, so I kind of wanted to know what the final evolution is called, like Pokemon Magma Final Evolution. So that's what you would spell it. So basically, so it evolves into Magmortar when traded, holding a Magmarizer. So that's the name of this Pokemon, Magmortar. It's a fire-type Pokemon introduced in Generation 4. It evolves from Magmar. Okay, I know this already. It's just a regular fire-type Pokemon, but it is 5 foot tall, 1.6 meters. And yes, it does look pretty strong, and there isn't so much information on his powers. Alright, interesting. Magmortar. Oh, this is ridiculous. This is completely ridiculous. It's a car, basically. It looks like a bobby car, as we say in Germany, and it's supposed to be a grass Pokemon. This is why people hate Pokemon. It's basically a lawnmower. So I don't know why you would like create a Pokemon that looks like a lawnmower just with a face on it. And I mean, why is it even grass Pokemon? I mean, it's probably more like electricity Pokemon as far as I'm concerned. I'm just kidding, it's fine, but it's kind of ridiculous. And I mean, I don't know, I feel like sometimes first generation was just more creative. I mean, all these cool grass Pokemon and so on, and then there's just a lawnmower, basically. You can just turn every object into like a Pokemon. I know there's like different other ridiculous ones, like, I don't even know, like a TV or something. I have no idea. Alright, let's look up this ridiculous looking Pokemon. Pokemon that looks like lawnmower. Rotom? I'm not sure if that's it. Bulbapedia. Rotom is a dual-type electric ghost Pokemon introduced in Generation 4. But that's not the one I was looking for. That's the one. Rotom. Okay, interesting. Ridiculous though. How does this work? Oh, okay, now I understand it. While it is not known to evolve into or from any other Pokemon, it has the ability to possess the motors of certain appliances and change forms. Ridiculous. So basically, when it possesses a lawnmower, it becomes Rotom and is electric grass type. So this one is electric grass type. If it possesses an electric fan, it becomes Fan Rotom. So basically, this is the other one I have as well. Or it becomes Frost Rotom if it possesses a refrigerator probably, Wash Rotom or Heat Rotom. This is pretty ridiculous, honestly, but it does explain kind of where this comes from. It's apparently, okay, it's a ghost Pokemon, and it can basically possess different objects. And I mean, as a Westerner, this does seem pretty ridiculous, but having been in Japan and knowing that they believe in the Shinto principle that in everything there is a kind of a god or something, The Japanese really do believe that even a fridge or a lawnmower has a spirit, or there's a god inside, or a Pokemon in this case. So I can kind of get where they come from. Still don't think it's a great Pokemon design, but now I kind of understand what it is. So basically the name is Rotom. And the Japanese name is Rotom too. Alright, that was it. That's my cat again. So this was pack number 2. I think I'm kind of satisfied that I got this Mega Evolution, Final Evolution Magmar one, but I don't think it's one of the very rare cards, to be very honest. This is pack number 3. So far I've unpacked 10 cards. And let's see what happens next. If the super valuable blue Charizard is among my cards. So this is again a Pokemon that I do not know, but it has a lot of HP, 120. Like, how can such a small fucking fly have 120 AP? That's a bit, it's interesting, I would say. I don't know. And basically, in Germany we would say Libelle. That's what this insect is called. It's a very small insect. I mean, it can get a bit bigger, but I guess it's probably my valuable Pokemon right away. I don't know, but it has a lot of health and the attacks are pretty strong. I mean, 120. I mean, I rarely have seen attacks that deal so much damage, so maybe that's one of the more newer generations, and maybe you're making fun of me now because it's a Pokemon that I should be knowing, but I do not know it, honestly. It's apparently, oh, actually, I think I know the first evolution. It's like a smaller insect, basically. I saw it. It might be like 2 generations ago or something, but I never was really into it. Alright, I did find the Pokemon, at least the pre-evolution, Yanma it is called, of this Pokemon. Funny enough, in Japanese it's called Yanma, and it's a bug flying Pokemon introduced in Generation 2. Yeah, I remember, I did know this Pokemon, I just never caught it because I found it so boring. And it evolves into Yanmega when leveled up while knowing Ancient Power. So I think Yanmega is the Pokemon I have here in my hand. It's also bug flying Pokemon introduced in Generation 4. Okay, I think they came up with it later on. They do add evolutions in later generations quite often, as I notice, and it's, yeah, doesn't look like a super powerful Pokemon, but that's okay. We can look at the stats. Has a pretty good special attack stat. Yep. So here you can look up the attacks. Pretty much boring attacks. None of these look super powerful. I mean, Ancient Power, I remember this one. So yeah, there it is. Alright, next we have a Fire Monkey. I think, is it one of the starter Pokemon? I don't even know, could be. That's one of those I don't really like, because why do you always have to combine fighting style with fire style? And it's a fighting monkey. It has 1 attack, which only deals 20. Actually, it's the 2nd evolution, apparently. So basically the first evolution is an even smaller monkey, but this one is still pretty weak. And then eventually the 3rd evolution is obviously kind of a big orangutan-like monkey, so that's basically it. Alright, I just wanted to look it up. Pokemon Fire Monkey. Yeah. Alright, so that's basically the monkey, at least the pre-evolution if I'm not mistaken. And it's a fire type Pokemon introduced in Generation 5, and it evolves into Simisear when exposed to a Firestone. Let's see. Actually, I might be mistaken. I don't think that's the Pokemon I was talking about. Pokemon Fire Monkey, that's the one I'm talking about. That's an earlier generation. Chimchar. Pokemon Chimchar. Panflam. Okay, yes, that's the one. Chimchar, that's the Pokemon. It's a fire-type Pokemon introduced in Generation 4. It evolves into Monferno starting level 14, which evolves into Infernape, ridiculous, starting at level 36. It's one of the 3 starter Pokemon, right? I remembered that correctly. It's a fire Pokemon, or is it not a fire/fight Pokemon? Let's see. Evolves into Monferno. That's the 2nd evolution, and that might be the one that I have here. Yes, I think it is. It basically looks like a Pavillon, and as I said, yeah, it evolves, it adds the fighting type as well, and eventually it becomes a really big monkey with like some armor, which kind of looks like an Indonesian type of figure, I would say, but maybe that's just me. Alright, so then I have a trainer card. Is it valuable? Probably not. I don't know. It's not some girl or some actual person, so I would assume it's not. It looks like a Pokédex. That's probably what it is. Here I do have a woman, but it's not like a shiny thingy, so yeah, it doesn't look too special. And here, that looks very unusual. It is one of those types, very hard to recognize, kind of ridiculous again. It looks like a fan, basically. And it is one of those Pokemons that I don't know. I might have seen it somewhere, and I can't even tell if it's rare. What does this red thing mean here? Does it mean that it's a strong attack, or that it's a rare Pokemon? Because wasn't there like a star back in the day, kind of like magic card or something, that you would recognize if it's a valuable one or not so valuable one? But yeah, this one is susceptible to electricity and strong against earth, apparently. But again, it looks super cheesy. It's basically a flying... I mean, it's a mix between like a fan and like an insect. It's ridiculous. So I think that's it. I think that was my one valuable card. But yeah, maybe I bought booster packs which don't have that many valuable cards in them. Seems that way. I don't know. Which is fine. I'm gonna give it to some kid here. Yep. Alright. Okay, once again, I'm super curious. I think I probably, maybe I have to, like, I don't know, I always saw Max Mofo like switching them around and changing them up or something. But yeah, alright, let's start up. So this is an interesting one. I think I saw this in the kind of the Pikachu, Detective Pikachu movie. And kind of like, yeah, I think I know the first evolution. It's a huge turtle basically with like a whole city on its back. No, I think it's different in the Detective Pikachu. They get like transformed by some genetic mutations. And this one is a different Pokemon. Maybe it's not that huge. It's only, yeah, I mean, it's 100 kilograms apparently, which is pretty large, you have to say. But it's the 2nd evolution of this small dinosaur-ish thing. I think it's probably a powerful Pokemon. It has a lot of health, 110 health, and the attacks do look pretty good. I'm not sure if there's a 3rd evolution, but it does look somewhat cool. I think the drawing looks a bit amateurish. Could look a bit more refined as far as I'm concerned. If you compare it to like magic cards or something, it's a bit undetailed, let's just say. Alright, let's look this up. Pokemon with turtle with big trees. Okay, I think that's the one. Torterra. Torterra. In Japanese it's called Dodaitose, or Dodaitos, is a dual-type grass-ground Pokemon introduced in Generation 4. It evolves from Grotle starting at level 32. It is the final form of Turtwig. I think the one I have is Grotle, right? Maybe, I would say so. And the initial one is Turtwig. Yeah, it's a really small one, right? I remember. So which one do I have? I think it's this one that I have, honestly. Because of like the mouth and the bushes, and the final evolution is just bigger and has a real tree on there and has a meaner face. I mean, it does look pretty powerful, I'm not gonna lie. And I guess the grass-ground combination is an interesting one. Back in the day you wouldn't have really grass combined with other types so much, and so a Pokemon that does like razor leaf attacks and maybe some earthquake attacks, I could imagine could be powerful. But yeah, maybe I could look up their attacks maybe. And it does appear in Detective Pikachu, I knew it. Base. So yeah, here are his attacks. Giga Drain, Leaf Storm, Crunch, has some dark type attacks, Bite. Alright, so here we basically have a weird Pokemon again with this type I don't even know. I mean the color is like grayish, and up there it's like it's a symbol I have never seen. It's a fairy Pokemon. Is that like the new type, or silver type? I mean, I should probably get more attuned or get more informed of the types, but this one I do not know. It has only 60 HP and the attack only deals 20 damage, but that doesn't have to mean so much. It's weak against fire and it's good against psycho. So I mean, it looks like a frisbee. It basically looks like a frisbee. I mean, I don't want to be mean to any Pokemon fans, but doesn't it look just like a frisbee? Alright, let's check this out. Pokemon that looks like frisbee. Not really. Frisbee. I mean, like blue frisbee, like blue plate with eyes. No, that's not the one I'm looking for. That looks like blue circle with yellow eyes. No, that's not the one I'm looking for. That's weird. Black. Oh, it's a blue one, right? Maybe this is gonna help me find it. Minior, could that be it? I mean, it is a blue looking Pokemon, right? So why the hell am I unable to find it? I think that's not it, no? I mean, honestly, this would be... I think I'm probably mistaken. It's kind of a meteor, but that's not the Pokemon, so... If any of you know the name of these Pokemon, please kindly tell me, because I couldn't really find it. And it is what it is. Oh yes! That's probably worth nothing at all, but one of the most popular Pokemon in the world, Evoli. Japanese go crazy about this Pokemon. It was everywhere. And I mean, wasn't there even like in the newest edition, isn't there like an Evoli edition where you can pick an Evoli as your starter Pokemon? I mean, Evolis are obviously pretty cool because you can basically transform them. If you have like a water stone or an electricity stone, you can choose whatever you want. I never knew which stone to get them because I didn't really know which one was best. There's one like water stone, Aquana, looks pretty good, but water Pokemons are pretty common, so I think I transformed it into like a fire Pokemon or into an electricity type because back when I was playing it, there weren't that many good electricity type Pokemon, aside from that Zapdos, that electricity type bird. That's what it was called in German. Alright, then I have an energy card. Super happy about it. No, I'm just kidding, but if you played really, you need those obviously, and you always don't have enough. Honestly, I think I never really played Pokemon. I don't know the rules. And then I already seen it. I should probably be happy, but I have no idea. It looks strong. I have this card. It is interesting. I mean, it has 200 HP. I think honestly, it looks valuable. It's an evolution of Evoli, which in and of itself is probably a good sign. It has an insanely strong attack here, 110. And I mean, I do know that those cards that are like shining are more valuable. I guess probably it's not a shiny one or something, but I'm happy. I mean, the 3D effect I'm not a huge fan of. I prefer like just 2D animations that look like an actual artist painted them. But I'm pretty happy about this. I don't know the name though. I don't know if this is like, because back in the day there was no plant type evolution of Evoli. There was, I think, only fire and water and electricity. And this is interesting. Alright, let's get some more info. Evoli grass evolution. Evolution. Leafeon. So yeah, I'm pretty convinced that I found it here. It's called Leafeon in Japanese, and it's a grass type Pokemon introduced in Generation 4. It evolves from Eevee when it's leveled up near a moss rock. It is one of Eevee's final forms, the others being Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, Espeon, Umbreon, Glaceon, and Sylveon. Honestly, I'm pretty sure the last 4 were introduced later on. I just want to look what they look like. So that's a psychic type. It looks very similar to another cat that Team Rocket always has, right? And this one, yeah, this one I know. It's a dark type Pokemon. And this one is a ice type Pokemon, interesting. And this one is, I haven't known it yet, fairy type Pokemon, interesting. Looks a bit ridiculous. I like the grass type a lot. It looks very cool design wise. And would be interesting to see. It's probably kind of a rare one. It's 1 meter tall, and maybe I can look at the stats. It has pretty strong defense, but the special attack is pretty weak. I mean, wouldn't that be good for like a grass type Pokemon? Maybe I'm mistaken. And the attacks do look pretty solid, but Leaf Blade is a final attack with level 45. But other than that, a lot of normal type attacks. Baby Doll Eyes. I have no idea what this attack is good for. But Giga Drain, Magical Leaf. It has a fire attack, which is pretty unusual for a grass type Pokemon. So I think it seems like they mixed up the different types of attacks that Pokemon can learn with newer generations. Could that be? Maybe. I mean, it does look like a fucking deity, and I mean, good plant Pokemon are so rare, or were so rare back in the day, so I'm pretty happy that I have this Pokemon, that there is actually an evolution of Evoli being a plant Pokemon. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I think that's the first kind of good card, but probably people are gonna make fun of me and tell me that it's completely useless, but I don't mind. I'm gonna tell somebody that it's valuable and sell it for a huge profit on the black market. That's what I'm gonna do. Alright, the final pack. Now I'm very nervous. The final pack. It starts off with a small, ridiculous looking turtle. It's the pre-evolution of the card I had beforehand, and I have to say it does look pretty harmless and ridiculous, but kind of cute too. So this is what I expect a Pokemon to look like, kind of. I think it's not a bad design. But what kind of is unfortunate a bit, I think, is that the drawing style is very inconsistent. Maybe it's just made this way, but I feel like back in the day it was more of a consistent drawing style. Now it's like every third grader of primary school draws one picture. No, I'm just kidding, obviously. But like with Magic the Gathering card games, it's just much more detailed, but I guess that's not what it is about. So this is a plant type Pokemon, probably has some leech attacks and some razor leaf attacks and so on. So that's pretty cool. Now I'm a bit confused. Interesting. So this is basically a evolution of Digda. Like the digging Pokemon. I think the name is different in English probably, but it looks like a mix of Digda and Rosanna. Basically, it's the small heads, like, but with hair on it, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's totally ridiculous. It really does kind of look like Rosanna, the Psycho-type Pokemon from the first generation, but I've never seen it, and it's the new type again that I don't know. This kind of, I don't know, is it fairy or steel or something maybe? It's very unusual. I don't know if this is valuable. I mean, it's the second evolution, so it's not super crappy. And I guess, I mean, it doesn't have a lot of HP, but I guess this attack could potentially be strong because there's a multiplicator. So I think if you use a lot of resources, you're gonna get a very strong attack. Okay, let's check out this guy. Digda, Pokemon with hair. So, okay, now I found it out. It's apparently an Alolan Diglett. And it evolves into Alolan Dugtrio. So basically, that's the special Alolan thing. I think the one that makes Pokemon grow really high or do some weird stuff, and that's apparently their special type evolution. It's a ground steel Pokemon, and yeah, maybe I can read it. In the Alola region, Dugtrio is revered as an incarnation of the god of the land, and it's treated with great importance. This is why the people of Alola fall to their knees and bow deeply whenever they come across an Alolan Dugtrio that has poked its face out of his burrow. Okay, they have golden hair for some reason, and there's some superstitious release that belief that a volcano will erupt apparently when they come out. So yeah, that's the mystery solved, why they have hair, the Dugtrios. Okay, there's a shining one, I see it already. This is one of those that I do know. It's also from the bit newer generations, but not the very new ones. It's one of those birds that I don't love so much. It kind of looks like just, I mean, it has a hat on basically. And I mean, I don't know, I just preferred like the pigeon ones from the first generation. They were just cool, or the ones with a long back as well. Those were kind of cool. The evolution had like 2 heads, but this one, I don't know, not a huge fan and super weak. And it's actually an interesting type. Is it one of those unusual types again? I mean, it's basically, it's none of the types I can recognize. It's not Psycho. It's maybe it's dark. I think it's dark type. That's what it's called. All right, I have this card which looks pretty ridiculous. It's a trainer card which is shiny. I was hoping to get like a cool Charizard blue one or something, but I guess it's better than nothing. I have no idea what this does. It doesn't look very pretty, but and I'm not even sure, it's like a clover leaf or something, or is it just a heart, or is it something else that I shouldn't be thinking about? It's, I don't know, maybe it's my most valuable one and I'm not even aware of it. That's a problem if you can't speak Japanese and if you're not well versed with the market. And we have the second evolution, funny enough, of the initial Crow type, which also, I don't know, not a huge fan. Kind of like a thicker version with kind of like pretty nice chest, let's just call it that way. But I mean, the stats are okay. 110 HP, 90 damage, susceptible to electricity apparently, and good against ground type. So that's it basically. What do you think? Was I really unlucky or was it okay? I feel like when Max Mofo was opening up his booster packs, he had a bit better cards, but maybe he bought more expensive ones, or he bought just the newest drops or whatever. I'm not very well informed in this regard. And when I bought them back in the day, there weren't only 5 cards in them. I think there were like 10 cards in them. They were also more expensive. So, I mean, if you basically, I think all of them cost like $8 or something. So basically, I mean, one pack is not even $2, so it's quite cheap, to be honest. So I guess it's all right. And maybe there's even, I have no idea, maybe one of my cards is, I mean, for instance, this one I could imagine is also worth $5 or something. I don't know for sure. I would have to look it up, or maybe that's the valuable one because it shines, it's golden and it shines in gold, and I have no idea. So I hope you kind of enjoyed this. If you, I'm not gonna keep those, and I don't know anybody who collects Pokemon right now, so if you want these cards, you can leave me a comment. I'm not gonna send them to you, I'm not that generous, but if you're here in Berlin, I'm gonna give them to you, okay? Alright. Thank you. Here's some roses for you. Thanks.